Hi, it's Mr. Monig, and I'm here to talk to you about behavioral ecology. We are going to learn about operant conditioning, classical conditioning, fixed action patterns, imprinting, direct movements, taxis and kinesis, and innate behaviors. Let's begin. We are going to talk about associative learned behaviors first. We're going to talk about classical conditioning, which is an arbitrary stimulus that is associated with a reward or punishment. An example I'm going to give is Pavlovian's experiment that he conducted with the dinner bell. He had a dog that he would give meat and ring a dinner bell at the same time, and then he would remove the meat from the situation and the dog would salivate. Next, we're going to talk about operant conditioning, also known as trial and error. Operant conditioning is animal that learns to associate one of its own behaviors with a reward or punishment and then tends to repeat or avoid that learned behavior. An example I'm going to give is the ferret on the couch example. I used to have a ferret and he would jump on the couch. So every time he jumped on the couch, I would punish him by putting him in his cage for 5 minutes, and he would eventually learn by trial and error not to jump on the couch.
This is going to be an example of classical conditioning. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the experiment with my cat, and every time I give her a treat, I'm going to shake the treat bag. So eventually she will associate the sound of the treat bag being shaken with a reward of getting a treat. And yeah, okay. So first I'm going to give her the treat while shaking the treat bag. Alright. Okay, you have to do this. You have to do this several times. So I'm associating the shaking of the bag with the treat again. Here you go. So by now, Nyla should have associated the sound of the bag being shaken with her getting a treat. She's coming. Ah, she's coming! Woo! And then she gets a treat. And that is classical conditioning.
Next, I'm going to talk about innate behaviors. Innate behaviors are behaviors that are developmentally fixed. In other words, they're genetically influenced behaviors. Fixed action patterns, or FAP, is a sequence of unlearned behavioral acts that are unchangeable. Once it starts, it is carried out to completion. It's normally triggered by a Stein stimulus. An example is when a male stickleback fish sees any fish with a red belly, it then attacks it. So, when you take out an actual fish, they put inanimate objects into the tank, and the fish will attack it because it is red. Imprinting is a mix between innate and learned behavior. Imprinting occurs during the critical period of a young's life. An example is young geese following their mother. Innate behaviors continued. Directive movements. There's two types of directive movements. There's taxis and kinesis. Taxis is an automatic movement towards or away from a stimulus. An example is a salmon orientates itself to swim upstream. This is positive rheotaxis. Next is kinesis. It is a random movement, simple change in activity or turning rate in response to a stimulus. An example is pill bugs becoming more active in dry areas.
Habituation is when something is exposed to a stimulus in nature, like a sound, and at first it regards the stimulus as dangerous and avoids it or is startled by it, but then afterwards when it realizes that the stimulus is not dangerous, it ignores it. So in this example of habituation, I'm going to be in my car and I will honk every time my brother passes by, and eventually he should get used to me honking and just ignore it.
Whatever.
So by now, Nyla should have associated the...
An example is the male stickleback fish. The male stickleback fish is a male fish that is a stickleback, and it goes... the male stickleback fish when a red object is put into the.
This is an example we conducted with habituation. Ow! Ow! Oh, it's okay.